All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's midnight into tomorrow morning's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Race the Allegiance 200 from Nashville Super Speedway to kickstart the NASCAR Nashville weekend, Friday through Sunday. And yes, we are going to have probably by the end of this thing, at least on the East Coast side of things, two straight morning NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races. Of course, last week, Sunday morning into the early afternoon, we ended up starting and running the Truck Series race at Charlotte. After that was rained out 2 days later, they were able to get that started. No 2 day wait today, but we will have a 3 hour wait as the original drop of the green flag was supposed to be shortly after 8 p.m. Eastern. Slightly delayed start to get the national anthem in, and before they could even give the command to fire engines, another storm shower had rolled through the Lebanon, Tennessee area. So, as we head into tonight's race for the Craftsman Truck Series, point standings on NASCAR.com are not completely accurate. I had to go back when I was actually starting to type in the point standings that you usually would see scrolling across the top of the screen. I was like, wait a minute, that looks like the exact point standings going into last week's race, and that's exactly what it was. So NASCAR.com has not updated the point standings for the Craftsman Truck Series via last week's race at Charlotte, so hopefully things are going to be updated here after this weekend's race at Nashville. That is why you're not going to see any points scrolling across the top of the screen. For whatever reason, on the NASCAR mobile app and the NASCAR.com website, that was not updated, but it was updated for the Cup and O'Reilly series, just not for the trucks for whatever reason. Starting lineup for tonight's race, 200 miles around this Nashville Super Speedway, 150 laps. Lane Riggs will be the pole sitter. Qualifying was rained out earlier today. Minimal practice for these Truck Series teams. Caden Honeycutt, the series points leader, will be sitting second in tonight's race for the starting grid, and he will also be on the front row. Jesse Love with Gio Ruggiero will line up in row number 2. Jesse Love, we don't usually see him in the Truck Series. He'll be in the 77 for Spire Motorsports. Christian Eckes and Ben Rhodes will be in row number 3 with Brandon Jones and William Sawalich, the two Toyotas, in row 4. Row 5, Tanner Gray and Daniel Hemrick rounding out the top 10. A little bit behind them in row 6, Jake Garcia, Corey LaJoie, Stephen Parsons getting spotted today by Connor Zilich. He will be in row 7 alongside Tyler Reif. Row number 8 will be Justin Haley and Grant Enfinger. Row 9 for Tyler Ankrum and Parker Retzlaff, another O'Reilly Series regular in the field today. Andres Perez and Carson Ferguson will line up in row number 10. Row 11 for Ross Chastain, one of the Cup regulars in today's field, and Chandler Smith. Dawson Sutton, Stuart Friesen will be in row 12. Raja Carruth full-time for the O'Reilly Series back in the truck event. He is the defending winner of this race with Spire Motorsports last season. He's in row 13 alongside Frankie Muniz. Ty Majeski with Spencer Boyd in row 14. Cole Butcher, Brendan Queen in row 15. Derek Lemke on the inside of row 16 alongside Chris Wright. Vinny Tyrell, Clayton Green in row 17. And rounding out the 36 truck field, Caleb Costner and Daniel Dye. That is our full field of 36 trucks for today's race. All right. Easy Network, Austin Sullivan, Jeffrey Giordano, Blake Snake, Wade, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Preston Feller, Connor Burke, Corey A., Regine Huddleston, Joe Rochester, Steve J., welcome to the stream, everybody. Ricky Atkins, Lincoln Kim Hollingsworth, and many others. Appreciate you all tuning in. Anybody like sprint cards besides Keegan in the chat? It's a good question. Good question. Less than 2 months from the Kings Royal in Eldora, my home state. Northwest Ohio. That's where I'm from. Eldora is not Northwest Ohio. It's more Southern Ohio, but South Central. For some late-breaking updates, I'll let you listen into the Fox Sports 1 booth. I believe the race is still on Fox Sports 1. I don't think they bumped it to FS2. Got the sniffles. Allergies have been kicking my tail today. Usually about the end of May every year, I really start to get hit hard. Last couple of days, been having sneezing attacks, so I apologize for the slight stuffiness. Nasally sounding voice. Probably going to be like that all weekend if I had to guess. Yes, Eldora is close to the Indiana border. Of course, dirt car racing and sprint car racing huge in Indiana. Our stage splits today, I believe, are 45 laps in both stage 1 and stage 2. 45 laps in stage 1, 50 laps in stage 2, 55 in stage 3. So fairly even split when you take the caution laps out of stage 1 and stage 2 when we have that break. They're pretty much going to be about the same. So they will not have to pit for fuel or tire purposes in each of the 3 stages tonight. That's very unique here at Nashville. This is a relatively short race, and we're going to be getting this thing started pretty late tonight, but it is going to be a short race, albeit. Maybe not as short as last week's race at Charlotte that got shortened, and that was not impacted necessarily by weather as far as getting that race shortened, but more the start of the Indy 500 and a Fox telecast confusion and not wanting to simulcast basically the truck race into the IndyCar race, even though the truck race would have been done before the Indy 500 started. But whatever the case is, they did not want to go past noon Eastern, so that is that. They ended up finishing the race about 30 laps early. Layton Riggs, the winner of last week's race at Charlotte, his second win of the season, and he's the only truck regular to have more than one win so far this year.
How about the 88?
I like this one. It's the Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford F-150. It has a lot of similarities to my race car.
A lot of yellow and
a lot of yellow Hunt Brothers. It looks good. That is not me, though, in there.
How about
I was going to have some fun with that thing tonight.
How about since we're running into the middle of the night, you order a couple pizzas?
Dude, that would be a great idea right about now.
Joey already has some baked ziti.
I did have
Take some
that.
pizza later and
It's
some
a
flowers.
reheat. I'm sure many people watching this, if you had any leftovers, you already reheated them.
Let's listen in on Caden Honeycutt's radio.
All right, boys, we got to get up right here. Hard to pass. We need to be on our A game on pit road. We need really bad here today. Exposed all mistake. Got to get them all tight. They're all looked up like.
Good pep talk.
Yeah, I think he's just all about execution. I think that's Scotty Zip talking there. Right, it's all about execution. He feels like, hey, if you take this truck and put it back towards the back, it's not like this is Charlotte where you can go 3 wide, multiple laps and grab 6 spots, 8 spots within a few laps with just making a few good decisions. This is a slow climb back to the front. It can be an elevator ride down, the stairs back to the top. That's what Nashville could be.
And what do you think, Joey, about as we continue to drive pit road here, getting that in shape? What do you think the keys early here? We've been delayed. These drivers are antsy. They don't know what the track's going to hold. What's the key to making sure you don't make a mistake early and you get your job done to get this thing started?
Well, it depends on what place you're in, right? If you're up front, we just heard, Caden Honeycutt's crew chief, just execute, stay at the front. You have what you want already. You have the track position. Now, if you look further side, it's a short race, right? 150 laps is going to go by pretty dang quick. So if you do make a mistake, you don't have time to recover. If you're starting in the back, you better go while you can. But what's it going to be like the first 2 laps, right? They haven't been out here at night. The track's going to be a little bit more green. Does the track widen out as much as it looked like it was going to in practice when it was warm out and the sun was baking on the track? There's some questions they're looking to answer here, and they're not going to get it until it goes green and maybe 15, 20 laps into the race to get a feel for a lot of those things.
Let's get an update on Grant Enfinger since we're still drawing pit road. Amanda, what are you hearing?
Hey, Jamie, yeah, I was able to catch up with Grant Enfinger while he was in the line ahead of qualifying.
really happy with everything that he was in practice, but he has not missed his word when he says that his back is up against the wall when it comes to the season. Year in, over a year, it has not been the number 9's year this season, but he said, this is what we love. We know how to race this way. We know how to race when the pressure is on us. I talked about last year's race. He finished 10th here, but he said that was not the story. I drove my truck was all the way in Kentucky last year, but he said, I have a truck right here in Nashville, right here in Tennessee, and hopefully we're talking about him a lot more tonight like he wanted us to do in Charlotte, Josh.
Well, Gio Ruggiero in that 17 truck is putting together a really good season. Right now, he is 4th in the points, but when I caught up with him earlier today, the first thing he told me, we haven't entered victory lane yet. I need to get a win on the year to feel good about what we've been able to do so far. He also told me concrete tracks were something that he struggled with last year, but they went to work on that in the offseason, and they made some gains. He said, at Dover, we were better. At Bristol, we were better. And coming back here, I have a lot more confidence at Nashville. After the practice session, he told me he felt really good about that truck, especially on the long run. So look out for that 17 starting 4th to be a major factor here as he tries to get his first win of the season.
Yeah, he got that big breakthrough win at Talladega last year, but he's come up short. He's had 4 top 5 finishes this year. Definitely good, but not what he's expecting. He's expecting to be a winner by now. We'll step aside as they continue drying pit road, make sure everything is safe.
Yeah, taking a little bit of extra time to dry pit road. They were looking at a roughly 10:50 Eastern start. They still have not yet begun, so this is going to be approximately a full 3-hour delay from when we were originally supposed to get things started here tonight, but we are going to get this race in after all. And greetings to all of you tuning in on a late Friday evening in the month of May, May 29th. That is final weekend of May for the NASCAR season. Usually that would be the case for a Coke 600 weekend at Charlotte, but because Memorial Day was a little bit earlier, still the last Monday of the month, of course, but Sunday still being the last Sunday of the month this coming weekend, set to get one more week. It's going to kind of finish things off a little bit earlier late in the season as well. Though I guess not as much this year because they're taking a second off week compared to what they've had the last couple of seasons, so might not feel like it. This early in the year, though, you can definitely tell that there's a bit of a difference scheduling-wise. And obviously the earliest date that we've seen so far out of Nashville Superspeedway since being in the Cup Series full-time since 2021. Usually this race taking place anywhere between June and July. So a little bit cooler temperatures, especially under the prime time lights. This early in the year yet, still springtime. May is a great racing month. Of course, the Indy 500 last weekend as well. Closest finish in Indy 500 history last week. A green-white checker final lap finish. I did work earlier today, so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. As far as how late tonight's stream goes, because I have been up since about a little after 2:15 Eastern today, so it's been a long day. I did not take a nap. I should have. I was about to take a nap. I was semi-trying, but not really trying hard enough. And then I got in the shower and woke up a little bit more, and that was about 6 o'clock. I'm like, no, I feel good, ready to go. And then I saw that qualifying got rained out for the truck series right around that time, and I'm like, oh boy. Here we go again. And then I was looking at the weather before the start of the stream at 8, and I'm like, I'm not going to go live yet because it's looking kind of iffy right now. And sure enough, after they get the national anthem in, rainstorm comes through. So here we are, starting the stream a few hours late, but we are here after all. Billy Kramer, welcome into the stream. Yeah, we're talking about this. This isn't going to be 24 hours. I don't have to worry about this race going over 3 hours, but yeah, no, it's definitely been a long day. I'll be sleeping in tomorrow morning, that's for sure. I'll get my rest back overnight. Right side is, for my sake, it's one of the shorter truck races of the season. We're still waiting to get things started, though. That's the thing. This cleanup is taking forever in the pits.
Guitars from here, including a Cup Series win. 2024.
Mine was a dramatic. There's a lot of overtime finishes and a lot of fuel savings. I tell you what's good with the show car had enough gas. That's great advertising for them. And I remember actually going into turn 3 and the car started sputtering a little bit. And I was like, oh no, we're going to run out of gas in 3. And it picked up just enough around the corner to get across the line. But yeah, that was a big win. Great one.
And your second nationwide, now O'Reilly win was here as well. I remember that day.
That's right. Really cool guitar. Back then, Sam Bass, remember Sam Bass did all the guitars. He painted them all. And so I'm very fortunate to have a Sam Bass Nashville guitar. Don't know how to play it.
No, but
No one's ever played it. It just sits on my wall. It looks cool, though. They look good on the wall, don't they? Don't they? I wish I knew how to play it.
Joey, I joked with you that back when you won that race here in the O'Reilly car, you were Sliced Bread. That was your nickname. And you said, what am I now? And I said, you're Joe.
Just Joe. We're debating on dropping the Y. That was rain-delay talk.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? At what point was that happen?
we're a 3-time champ. We're branded.
I am. I think I'm
Joey. I think when you retire, we can go with Joe. But for now, let's stay Joe.
sticking with Joey.
Yeah.
All right. That's fine.
So Parker Retzloff is in the field tonight for second truck for Halmar Friesen, and he's had a driver advisor on pit road all day long. Amanda, is he still there?
He is still here, and I was asking just a second ago, do we call him coach? And he got a little laugh out of it. Christopher Bell, who won in the 62 earlier this season at Bristol. I talked to Parker right before this, and he said that he got ready for this race with a cherry Pepsi to amp himself up. How did you prepare him for this stint tonight?
I don't know that I did much, but I was really excited whenever I heard that this group was going to get a chance to race with Parker. I've followed him for a long time and felt like he's done an amazing job for the limited experience he has and the cars he's been driving. So I'm excited for the 62 group to get a chance to race with him, and I'm also excited for Parker to get a shot with this team.
I asked him what his expectation would to be tonight and what he would feel good about, and he said at top 10, his team was around him. He was like, we can do higher than that. What is the coach's expectation on him?
I mean, I don't know. I hate putting a finishing result on expectations, but so far he did an amazing job in practice. We had a great practice. Qualifying, obviously got rained out, so we're starting a little bit deeper than what I think we were expecting to. But I expect him to move forward pretty easily.
Well, Jamie, they found Victory Circle earlier this year. Maybe the 62 can do it again.
Yeah, I love that. The Christopher Bell has been out there all day. They weren't on track at all, but he was here just to support this team. So Parker Retzloff, this is just his second career Truck Series start.
Wow.
What I thought was really cool about listening to that is hearing Christopher Bell saying we. He is not in the car or the truck at the moment, right? And it's a typical thing you say when you're a driver. We're doing good. We're doing, and he has really embraced being part of the team today, saying we are doing this, and that's pretty neat to see him doing that, helping Parker and helping the team that he races for every now and again.
His headset said Bryce.
They don't give him a headset yet, though.
That's right.
He's got to use something.
He's earning his way.
Yeah.
The thing I love about Parker is just the speed. I mean, every time you look up, he's driving that O'Reilly car to the front, and he's just a very talented young racer. I talked to him earlier this week, and he said, I have one truck start. It was a Talladega. So this is more serious about tonight. Great looking Illustrated Resorts number 62. Looking forward to seeing what he can do tonight.
A new sponsor they've got here too, and it's they've got an alliance here. It's like a 2-team effort. It's Legacy Motor Club on his fire suit, so something new and different. Looking forward to seeing what he can do tonight.
He's going to get a lesson pretty early. There's Ross Chastain just to his inside. So if you need to figure out a way to the front, following Ross up through there in that melon truck might not be a bad idea.
There's going to be moves made. When Ross in a vehicle of any kind, especially on a restart, there's going to be a move. Now, which way he's going to go is always sometimes fun to figure out, but he is going to make a move.
Being told one to go.
About that after a long wait. We're getting ready to go racing.
Gosh, the initial start and the restarts here are something to see. 3, 4, 5 wide sometimes.
I think there's some of the tricky spots on this racetrack. Turn 1, probably in particular, one that sticks out a lot, where these trucks are going to be a little bit unsettled. The trucks kind of fall.
I'd be shocked if we see 5 wide today, Jamie Little. Nashville's a pretty narrow racetrack, all things considered. One of those shorter intermediate tracks, 1 1/3 miles roughly in length. Concrete oval, the biggest concrete oval of any on the NASCAR schedule. Of course, just raced at Dover a couple weeks ago in a points-paying race for the Truck Series. Of course, Kyle Busch winning that one in dominating fashion. Lane Riggs on the pole. He'll be going for back-to-back wins. Nobody's been able to do that in the trucks this season outside of Corey Heim, who's a part-time driver, but none of the truck regulars have been able to do that so far. We'll see if anybody can get the race win. I got Carson Hocevar in the chat poll. I'm going to end the chat poll and then start a new one at some point just after the start of this race because Carson Hocevar is not in the field tonight, so I apologize for that one. Green flag is in the air. Lane Riggs leads us, and we are racing at Nashville Super Speedway. 150 laps, and of course 45 of which here in this first stage. Lane Riggs getting the jump right off this initial start. Caden Honeycutt in the second place position, wrapping the outside of the racetrack. He'll be clear down the back straightaway as he gets a good run off the exit of the corner. Side by side for third place, though, going into turns 3 and 4. Jesse Love and Gio Ruggiero. Crossover move by Ruggiero, who was on the outside of road 2 initially on the start. Wiggles a bit on the bottom lane. Loses a ton of momentum. Jesse Love pulls away from him, and very quickly, Christian Eckes in the 91 trying to make a move. Eckes had a very fast truck, one of the top 2 or 3 trucks last weekend at Charlotte, won a stage as well. And he finished second in stage 2, ended up going on to finish inside the top 5, but had a lot of speed, so curious to see what he can do back-to-back intermediate tracks on the schedule. Of course, it's not being 1.5 miles, again, as I mentioned moments ago, 1 1/3 oval, so a little bit different, but speed is still, I would think, going to equate quite a bit from one intermediate track to the next. Now, there should be more tire fall off at a track like Charlotte than Nashville. Of course, these concrete ovals, we haven't seen a lot of tire fall off. So we'll see how that's going to end up going on here today. There wasn't a lot at Dover a couple weeks ago, and kind of the same thing at Bristol a few weeks even before that. Lane Riggs has led the first 3 laps of the race today. Caden Honeycutt in second, Jesse Love third, Christian Eckes fourth, and Gio Ruggiero rounds out the top 5. Ben Rhodes in 6th, Brandon Jones 7th, Tanner Gray in 8th, Daniel Hemrick 9th, and Jake Garcia rounding out the current top 10 in the first handful of laps. And again, Riggs from the pole has led every lap so far. Already a 1.3 second lead built up. Last lap, 29.855, nearly half a second faster for Riggs over second place Honeycutt. Last lap, Honeycutt picked up quite a bit, but still a little over 1/10 of a second off of Riggs' lap time. So we'll jump to the raw feed now. And I'll scroll down the screen so you can see a little bit more of that leaderboard. Indy 500 was the last live commentary stream on the channel last weekend. And with that being said, there was a much better raw feed that we had on IndyCar's website versus NASCAR.com where we could actually see the top 20 on the leaderboard on one screen. That was nice. Back to just a half a dozen here. A little bit more stats and info to kind of carry on the right side of the actual leaderboard itself, which you can follow along on the left side of the screen. Tie battle between Ty Majeski and Christian Eckes, I believe, for position. Actually, no, that is Tanner Gray in the 15 truck, who was falling out of the top 10 in the early laps. Wrong truck. It was the 16, not the 15. Justin Haley for Dodge Ram, and the 16 was battling Majeski. Majeski starting deeper in the field after a last place finish, I believe, last weekend at Charlotte. He might have made up enough laps out of the garage. I think he actually finished 35th and not 36th, but still poor finish factoring into the metric, of course. With the starting lineup for tonight's race, qualifying rained out for the second consecutive week. 2-second lead now for Lane Riggs over Caden Honeycutt as he crosses the start-finish line.
Samantha, Brexton, Lennox, Kurt, Tom, and Gay. We're thinking of you. We're with you. Thank you for sharing your son, your husband, your father with us for all these years. And thank you, Kyle, for all that you did for us in this sport, especially right here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Lane Riggs is leading this race. He got to do that bow at Charlotte. So legacy and see who gets it done tonight as these guys are intensely battling. See, constantly and steadily moving up through the field. Chandler Smith really fast in practice in that 38 truck, and it looks like he's got some good stuff going on here early in the race as well.
Look at that biggest mover, Michael. You mentioned it, up 11 spots for Chandler.
As teammates with Lane Riggs, who's leading this race. We noted earlier about Lane in practice, how much speed that truck had. Obviously, he's out there by about a second and a half right now. Chandler looks pretty good, too. Once he gets up there, he may have something for him.
And Lane Riggs, he may not have gotten the win last year, guys, but he was on the move. Led a bunch of laps, won stage one, but it was pit road that took him out of contention. Not once, but twice. They've been more consistent this year, and I know that gives him optimism. They already have 2 wins together, but he was lights out earlier today, Michael, and I think it sent the shockwave through the field.
Yeah, he's got a great truck, and we know that. But the thing I'm finding interesting, we were seeing the lead there of a second and a half for Lane Riggs. But the last couple of laps, Honeycutt's been faster, and all the way back in 11, we talked about his teammate, Chandler Smith. He's had faster lap times in Lane, so we're going to see a lot of action up toward the front as you watch Parker Retzloff on the outside, racing along with Jeff. I think we can follow Ross and see what's happening. Looks like he's tired of following him, doesn't it?
Ross cleared himself really tight there off of turn 2. And I'm telling you, when it's that close, I know we like to say the spotter's doing that in the mirror. He's in the mirror watching that, inching him up, saying, okay, it's about a game of chicken a little bit. Are you?
All right, top 10 in the running order, intervals between them as we're still in the first half of stage number 1, lap 13 to 45 here. Lane Riggs with a 1.9 second advantage over Caden Honeycutt in second. Jesse Love 3.6 seconds back in third. Christian Eck is still in fourth, 5.7 seconds out of the lead, and Jairo Ruggiero 6 seconds back in fifth. Ben Rhodes, the 2-time series champ, is 7.5 seconds out of the lead in sixth. Seventh place, 7.9 back. Just behind him is Tanner Gray. So again, Gray in seventh. Brandon Jones is 8th place, 8.1 seconds out of the lead, 8.5 back for Daniel Hemrick in ninth, and Jake Garcia 8.9 seconds out of the lead, rounding out the top 10. Pretty tight battle between 6th through 10th right now, all under a blanket. You can even throw Chandler Smith at 11th place in there as well. Smith up the most positions of any driver so far today, 11 spots gained from his 22nd starting spot. Ty Majeski up 7 spots to the 20th position. Daniel Dye back in the Truck Series tonight after his suspension. He's up 10 positions in the 26th spot. Vinny Tyrell, rookie, also up 6 positions after starting at the rear end of the field. Andres Perez has fallen off the lead lap in recent laps, so not sure what's going on with the 44, but I believe he has made an unscheduled pit stop, and we'll monitor if he's still back out on the racetrack. The only Cup regular in the field this weekend, Ross Chastain, is running in the 17th place position for Nice Motorsports, only up 4 positions from his starting spot in 21st. He's struggling just a bit as we get things kicked off here tonight. 30 laps to go yet in stage 1, a lot of time left in the race. Again, a 2.2 second lead for Lane Riggs over Caden Honeycutt. We'll take our first break. You're listening live on KRC to full flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's action. I do 4 and 4 for the 8 or 5 and 3. 4 and 4 is pretty easy. I was videotaping everything that was going on last week, so in the grandstands, I didn't do it, but I was trying to get the crowd captured in on my phone. Hardno72, thanks for tuning in. Robert Goodrich, welcome back. Found out for the Rolex 24 that Keegan prefers coffee. Yes, and I drank too much of it at once. I had 2 large iced coffees from McDonald's like consecutively at like 3 in the morning to try to get through the Rolex 24 back in January, and that was a bad idea drinking those back to back like that. I probably downed both of them in less than 30 minutes, and I was not feeling great. Heart was a racing for a good 5 to 10 minutes. Enough so that I had to get up because I did not think I was okay. Drank a lot of water and powered through it. Napoleon, thanks for tuning in. Race on Fox Sports 1? Yes. Yes, race is still on Fox Sports 1. Even though we had a 3-hour rain delay, they did not move the race to FS2. We are still on FS1 as originally scheduled. Caution free so far, just over 10 minutes into the race. Had a fair amount of yellows last weekend at Charlotte, and that was even with not getting the full race in. And the same can be said for the O'Reilly series in that one as well. Way more caution laps there with the amount of laps that they did complete. They actually completed more laps than the truck race, despite it being a 100-mile shorter race than the O'Reilly series to get past stage 2, past halfway to make the race official. Honeycutt has dipped into that deficit just a bit on Lane Riggs. Honeycutt's now 2 seconds out of the lead behind Lane. And 5.4 back still for Jesse Love in third.
So now working his way around a little lap traffic, puts Frankie Muniz a lap down. Caden Honeycutt still back in second, just under 2 seconds behind him. Got some good battles all over the racetrack for position.
See Frankie holding that thing low in the corners as that's off turn 4 there.
Stephen Parsons doing a nice job going in the right direction. Back in 13th right now. We talked about his spotter, Connor Zilich. Now, Stephen spots for Connor on Sundays, and they thought it'd be fun to spot for visit. So you see him up on the roof. There's Connor Zilich. The headset on, all the radios connected.
He's got a lot going on there. I don't know how many things he's got around his neck.
He's looking at some video right now and glancing up.
That has to be
Stephen's
really stressful.
running by himself, so he's got a bit of a break here, but probably just looking at some of the data that's coming from lap times of the leaders and seeing where Stephen's running on the track. A wealth of knowledge there is Connor Zilich. He's picked this crapped up in a hurry, hasn't he?
Absolutely. The spotter role is more than just saying inside-outside clear. It's about almost being a driver coach or an offensive coordinator, if you will. You're up there taking in all this information. You see the whole racetrack, the best view in the house, and you got timing and scoring, you got SMT, you got all these things up there where you can start to look at what the fast trucks are doing and start to coach your driver. Maybe a little bit. I've seen some trucks going a little faster here. Maybe arc your corner a little bit more. Maybe, drive in a little bit deeper. Where you getting beat? Maybe starting to help with maybe some of the balance changes you're going to need to your truck to get faster on the pit stop. All that information is rolling in through the spotter to help maximize what you got.
And even you as a veteran, you love all that information coming to you so that you understand how you can get better and faster.
If there is a lap my spotter doesn't talk to me, I assume my radios are broken.
Which is something we repeat. And some drivers don't want it. Like I remember Mark Truex Jr. did not want a whole lot of information. Don't talk to me. I can do the driving.
Yeah, I want to know everything. I'll decide what I needed to hear or not. But Coleman and I work really, really closely together, so he knows me really well. That helps, and these two obviously know each other really well as they work together. It's just roles reversed.
We've been talking about Parker Retzloff back in 17th. Could be some issues. Let's listen.
Pray by myself.
That's not good. It's pretty early in the race to have no brake pedal, and you do use some brake here in Nashville. The track that's, I feel like it's confused. Is it a mile and a half or is it a short track? It's right in between, and either way.
And right in the center of the corner, that's when it feels like a show track to me. You get down, it's down in the corner, right in the center. You're like, I'm not going to spill because it's tight down here.
Yeah, it's pretty flat. You got to cut a lot of speed off, Mike.
Great battle here between Chandler Smith and Rhodes. A chance to see
Tight battle.
Right direction. Was happy
For
with
six.
this front earlier.
Well, Chandler's a story early. I know Riggs is leading the race, but this 38 truck is very fast.
99 had contact moments ago. Here's a look at it.
Oh, Caleb Costner's in the 93, and there was a big swoop to the bottom for the 99. Maybe thought he's going to chase the 38, but the 93 stuck in the middle.
What I saw a minute ago was the 99 at Ben Rhodes trying to clear himself down in front of Chandler Smith. He did 3 last lap. It was really close. These guys are fighting hard earlier in the race.
There's a dive bomb there. Chandler said, I'm done with you, bud.
Biggest mover so far, Chandler Smith up from 22nd on the move in 6th right now.
He's passed a lot of trucks. He's done it all on the bottom. The tops, you can see the tops getting stronger and stronger. 1 and 2, it almost looks like it's the preferred lane already. 30 laps into the race.
It's Boyd in the 76, rolls out up to the top. Goes in flat down there to Chandler. Lipke in the 22.
31 laps into stage 1. There's 45 laps here for stage 1. You guys talked about how fast this race would go, how quickly 150 laps is.
Good strong move through the center of the corner there. I like 98 struck to Garcia.
He always has different country singers featured on his truck. Now we're in
Atkins
Nashville. Yeah.
On that thing. Tim Duggar's usually riding along there. Daniel Hemrick trying to keep pace.
We're talking about spotters. We listen in on the 99 radio for Ben Rhodes.
Oh, you're off here. Don't. With him working through lap traffic and racing side by side with Chandler Smith, and just straight in there.
Well, I think what he's trying to figure out is how many laps to go in the stage. There's pressure behind me. Do I try to hold this truck off to the end of the stage, or am I better off just letting it go? And I think this is what Chandler Smith was trying to pass him. And it's kind of like, okay, at the time there's, 15 plus laps to go? Am I going to try to race my guts out and possibly wreck this thing? Like there's 3 laps to go in the stage, or, if there's 3 to 5 laps to go in the stage, you're going to race the driver all the way to the very, very end. But when there's 15 to go, it's not likely that you're going to be able to do that. You're going to kill the tires on your truck, and you're going to go even further back. So he wants to know that information immediately when that moment's happening so he can make the right decision.
This guy is on fire.
He's
Playing
ripping.
bricks. He is. He just put Cole Butcher a lap down back in 25th, and we've only been racing for 35 laps.
And he's
Impressive
gonna
effort.
he's gonna lap all the way up into the top 20 at this pace. Just so much speed for that 34. Led every lap so far. Could we be seeing a Christian Eckes repeat? 2 years ago, he led every lap of the race. Long way to go, but wow, what a fast Loves number 34 Lane has.
I think give it time, right? The crew chiefs haven't had a moment to work on their trucks. It's a lot different than it was in practice. They're going to have a pit stop coming up here in about 6 minutes. Chandler Smith is rolling through the field, and he seems pretty fast. Long ways to go.
Nice gaggle of trucks here. From 7th on back, Tanner Gray in the 15. He's in 8th. Brandon Jones doesn't run a whole lot of truck races. Nice looking Sprecher Tricom Garage entry. These two can't shake each other. They've been at it for about 10 laps. This is for the 9th position.
Give it to Jake. Off turn 2, as you see the 19 of Dave Emmerich lurking there, trying to crack into that top 10.
Oh boy,
Lap truck sideways, that's not good.
that was a big moment.
I think it got Brandon Jones' attention because he backed out of the gas, and here comes Emmerich.
That 19 truck, that is the truck that Christian Eckes used to be in when he dominated and led every lap 2 years ago. But as we've documented every race, this is a different team for Eckes, different team around him at McAnally Hilgeman Racing.
Williams Wallace in the 5, trying to size up Brandon Jones there as we see.
Ooh, gosh, it
Oh,
wiggle right up the racetrack.
that was a handful.
Yeah, it's really loose. And it is so challenging. I cannot explain to everybody how hard it is when you have this truck and you're running the bottom. You're like, all right, and you want to pass this truck in front of you, and you got to go on the and you're going to lose all that air on the side, and you're already loose. Good luck. Good luck trying to clear that truck.
Well, it's just interesting to me, just the competition, how tough things are. We see Raja won this race a year ago. He's back in 21st position. They're just so hard to pass all these good trucks to get where you're going. And then, by the way, look in the mirror. Here comes the leader, lapping through these trucks just ahead of him. Daniel Dye. Daniel's been able to make good things early from this lap plate starting position, but he's getting ready to be a lap down. Lori the Joy there.
Lane
We're gonna
Riggs.
fight hard here. 5 laps to go. Now, when you're these trucks here and you see the leader coming, you know you're at the end of the stage is right around the corner. You're going to fight to stay on the lead lap. There's going to be a tough ass of a lane. And then the fight for the lucky dogs is right behind them. So right now you see Corey in the 10. You see the 26 truck behind them. Those two are in a fight for light right now. Because once you get trucked down the lap, you're just hoping for another caution later on. You may not get it. Your race is all on this moment right now.
And Daniel Dye is loving what he saw. You saw Riggs was right on his bumper. Look, he's away now because of the battle side by side with the Joy. Is that enough to keep Dye on the lead lap?
Corey LaJoy started 12. Now he's fallen back to 23rd. Goes lap down.
He wants these 3 laps to run off and not have Lane Riggs catch Daniel Dye.
Right, and that's the two things that's going on. Corey right now is hoping that Lane doesn't put down the next lap, and I think he's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to catch him and pass him in time. So right now it's the lucky dogs right here, these 2 trucks. This is the biggest race on the racetrack right now for these 2 guys.
2 laps to go here in stage 1. Not much movement behind Lane Riggs. Honeycutt still in second. Jesse Love, Christian Eckes, Pajero top 5. Chandler Smith has been on the move. Been watching his lap times. Multiple times he's had the fastest lap of all truckers. That time it was Lane Riggs with the fastest lap.
There's that 38 truck. Last lap of stage 1 coming up. Giorgero solid, top 5 here early in that 17.
Well, that's the kind of domination Lane Riggs was hoping to have. He keeps talking about those 3 guitars that his dad owns from winning here. We heard from Scott Riggs, his dad, earlier. He's just such a proud papa. He wants to see his son get his own guitar. Maybe that'll happen tonight, because this was quite the performance. Stage 1. Green and white is in the air. He has led all 45 laps of this one. Lane Riggs. 3rd stage win of 2026.
Good performance.
Both race wins this year, guys. Qualifying was rained out. Get rained out qualifying earlier today. Is that an omen for Lane Riggs?
Yeah, Lane Riggs and that 34 team just unloaded with a fast truck again of the top 2 or 3 trucks last weekend in Charlotte. And I think he's clearing away the favorites and the fastest truck in the field to start things off here today as well. Clean air is king, and he does have that clean air. We'll see if he ends up back in traffic at any point if the pit crew has a mistake. And that's one thing to be said as well with this being a short race and not having to pit under green flag circumstances in stages 2 or 3. Going to be a battle of track position. The only way to get that track position is making passes on the track, or obviously if you start up at the front, you hold on to it all the way through the end. Everybody who qualified, or I should say started the race in the top 5, finished stage 1 in the top 5. The only change of position was Eckes and Ruggiero, where Eckes started 5th. He finished 4th. Ruggiero started 4th, finished 5th in the stage. Chandler Smith, biggest mover, up 16 positions from 22nd to 6th. He is going to be one to watch. Obviously, teammate of Lane Riggs, so they both have speed in their front row motorsport Fords. Lane Riggs is your stage 1 winner. Caden Honeycutt in 2nd. Jesse Love 3rd. Christian Eckes in 4th. Gio Ruggiero rounds out the top 5. Chandler Smith in 6th. 7th place behind Smith was Ben Rhodes. Tanner Gray in 8th. Jake Garcia 9th. Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 10. Again, 1 point per position for those top 10 in the running order at the end of stage number 1. Big J 622, thanks for tuning in. Tim Fowler, welcome to the stream as well. Glad to see some racing. Me too. Stage only took 23 and a half minutes. Race going by quickly. It is a short race. 150 laps, 200 miles around this mile and a third oval is a very, very fast race. Of course, 200 miles of the shorter races by way of intermediate tracks on the schedule. Mileage-wise. And the stage breaker first caution, 45 laps of stage 1 caution-free with a green racetrack after rain wiped away any rubber that was laid down in practice. Qualifying was rained out, but they did get minimal practice in before the rain came and washed out qualifying later in the evening. And that's set for Lane Riggs to start on the pole and dominate the opening stage, coming through off a win in not only a stage but the race last weekend in Charlotte. Just 5 days ago, they raced Sunday in a quick turnaround to Friday. Good news is most of the teams are based out of Charlotte, so didn't have to go very far post-race on Sunday afternoon, but quick turnaround, though, to travel all the way out to Nashville. Usually not many cautions here. That is very true. That played into the dominant hand that Christian Eckes had a couple years ago in the truck race at Nashville. And here he is, 4th again.
Yes, it is.
A long one.
We're going to end on Saturday morning, technically.
The track dried up.
And that's good.
200 from Nashville Super Speedway is rolling, and Lane Riggs is rolling.
Pits are still closed right now. Well, I know that the truckers behind Lane Riggs are all going to want some serious adjustments.
How does that work, Joey? If you see a guy driving away like that, you know your truck isn't perfect. How do you break it down and tell your crew chief what you're needing?
Well, I think it's you start off with what's the worst. What is holding you back? Is the front tire slipping? Is the back of the truck slipping? And what part of the corner is that? And is it going to make you faster, or is it just going to make you be able to move around the racetrack more? So I think looking for, where's the speed on the racetrack line-wise? What are you going to need to run in that spot? And then you start to look at like short run, long run type stuff as well, right? Am I firing off fast and falling off too much? Or am I slow on the restart, but I'm really good on the long haul? And maybe you can work on some air pressure things and stuff like that. So it's balance. And then also, how do you look at the long run versus short run, and what's going to be the most important? Right now, it looks like it's going to be possibly a long run type race. At least the first stage was. At the end of the race, will it be that way? I usually see late race cautions. So maybe that's when you want your short run truck. And can you adjust that during the event that quickly? That's the challenge of this whole thing.
Well, you saw the reason why pits were closed for an extra lap. Clayton Green needed help getting back to pit road and into his box. So it should be open next time by. So they have a little extra time to think about and download all of those things you were talking about, Joey.
And I think, Joey, it's really important for the driver to do his job here. We talked about execution. Don't make a mistake. Don't put your crew in a bind by sliding through your pit. We haven't had anybody on pit road. This is the first chance to go there. You want to execute. You want to get all the speed you can getting to that box, but you can't overdo it.
Yeah, and the truck series has tough pit stops, right? The wheel openings are always really tight. It's hard to get the wheels out. It's a tough pit stop.
Mixed bag here, but we do have some takers. They'll be filling up with Sunoco race fuel with zero carbon bioethanol, and they're coming your way, Josh.
Chandler Smith's biggest mover of the day, up 16 spots, and he fired up great turn, great lateral in that truck. Just lost a little bit of turn towards the end of that run. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in addition to 4 tires and fuel remaining.
Yeah, Josh, we're going to see the 77 and Jesse into their box are actually right next to each other. Jesse Love was slipping earlier in the race, but said that the truck was coming to him with balance there towards the end. They are going to make a slight air pressure adjustment. And for Hayden Honeycutt, he was saying that he needs better takeoff, but Scott Ciminelli remembers that they had a big shift last year in balance, decided not to make any adjustments on that truck because Hayden said that the track is gripping up out there and said that he was close to the speed of the 34 at the end of that run, guys.
Thank you, Amanda. You saw the adjustments there. For Raja Karuth, truck a little bit sideways, but he was legal. He got his adjustments. All lead lap trucks did pit. We'll step aside, come back, and we'll green flag, stage number 2.
Right, so 23 drivers were on the lead lap at the end of the second stage. Dawson Sutton in 24th. The first truck 1 lap down will get the free pass with our first caution of the race being the stage 1 break from lap 45, an extended yellow, and it looked like the 2 truck needed some assistance getting back into the pit lane. Clayton Green in the 2, and he was on pit road for a lengthy period of time there, now scored in last place. So we'll see if he can continue onward. Andres Perez, who was on pit road for an unscheduled stop, was a couple laps down at the end of the first stage, made 1 lap back up on fresher tires, but still lap down in 31st. So some updates there. Other than that, Lane Riggs from the pole leads every lap of the race so far, wins the race off pit road pretty handily as well. He had a decent gap with the amount of lap trucks he had between himself and second place Caden Honeycutt at the end of the first stage. That all they needed to do was just kind of, I wouldn't say take their time, but make sure they got all the lug nuts tight, plenty of time to win the race off pit road without having to make a major issue and force Lane Riggs into having to come up with some heroics to go from the back to the front. He's going to have a fast enough truck to get back, I think, into the top 5, but this race is not very long. We get into the final stage. If there's a mistake in that final pit stop at the end of stage 2, that might be game over, especially if there's no cautions in stage 3. Because by the time we would go green, we're probably going to have less than 50 laps to go. Again, a 45-lap first stage, 50 in stage 2, 55 in stage 3. With the caution laps at the end of stage 1 and stage 2, then you're probably going to end up seeing a little less than 50 laps anyway here in stage 2, and probably a little less than 50 in stage 3. All the caution laps ran. This is actually going to be a slightly shorter run to the end of stage 2. In those couple extra laps before pit road was able to be opened, since they had to get the safety truck out from the pit lane after pushing the 2 in there. So for the next restart, Lane Riggs will be the leader. Caden Honeycutt in second. Christian Eckes jumps up a spot on pit road to 3rd. Brandon Jones 4th. And Grant Enfinger now in the top 5 and 5th. Tanner Gray in 6th. Chandler Smith falls back to 7th. Jesse Love was 3rd at the end of stage number 1. He is now 8th. Gio Ruggiero was 5th, is now 9th. And Jake Garcia rounds out the top 10. Ross Chastain up to 11th. And Ty Majeski up to 12th. That'll be the top dozen on the next restart. First restart overall today.
Sure.
Nature's Bounty.
Thought they were coming back from commercial after the Napa advertisement. I was wrong. Late Friday night on the stream.
We'll race under the lights at 7:30 Eastern on the CW. And then on Sunday, the Cup Series will hit the track at 7 p.m. Eastern on Prime. That's where our own Joey Logano will be found. You guys will be on track tomorrow. We'll practice in qualifying and then race on Sunday.
Choosing it up here. We had a lot of stuff go down on pit road. You see the damage there to the 62 truck of Parker Retzloff.
He ended up pitting backwards in his stall. So take a look right here at what happened.
You see the black truck on the outside there, making his way, turning into the pit.
Oh!
Minnie Tyrell spins him around.
Man, that wasn't anything Minnie could do. Like, this is just so abrupt. He would have assumed maybe the 62 was going straight. Miscommunication there on pit road, the spotter being involved and all that, but didn't go down well.
So Retzloff put it in reverse, went into his box, got service, and out he went.
Then he had to get some service to that fender.
It really didn't hurt as hard as he hit him. It really didn't hurt either truck that bad. I think they're going to be okay.
Stuart Friesen also, we saw him. It was
Kind
a
of
lot
flush
fun,
right
looked
in the
to be
left
down
rear
on the
corner
track.
panel.
Not sure how that
Kind of missed
began.
the tire,
So
which
he
was
come
good.
Back in. They took a long, hard look at what was happening there. So here we go. The drivers approach the Echo Park Automotive.
So Lane Riggs going to take the inside of row 1 for the restart as a controlled truck, just as he did the initial start of the race. We'll see if he can do just as well this time around. Green flag back in the air. Waited to the end of the restart zone to launch, and a great launch at that. He is going to be well clear into the first turn. Caden Honeycutt on the outside of row 1 will be unable to hold on to second place, as now we have another newcomer up at the front of the pack, sliding their way all the way up towards the top of the track, trying to take Honeycutt's line away, but that does not work. That being Christian Eckes in the 91. We'll have to see if he's got anything for Lane Riggs. As pretty much the top 3 in this race were the 3 fastest trucks last weekend, Riggs, Honeycutt, and Eckes. And we got a truck against the wall. The 42 has crashed.
Michael, we were talking about him earlier, going in the right direction.
He's having a good run.
Tyler Reif.
He's running 15th. A lot of damage to that 42 truck.
He's part-time for Nice Motorsports. 18-year-old out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
You just got to figure there was contact with all the craziness. We saw chaos on that restart.
You see him there right in the middle of those two trucks. He just, again, there's a door, on his door. Probably just, just kind of spun himself around there, get, tight in that spot like that. That's just learning experience over time. We'll realize that maybe I should have been in that spot or backing it up a little bit more into the corner, cutting a little bit more speed out.
Steph Parsons did a nice job to it.
I think he felt that truck coming up his way and was able to keep that from being worse for the 4 of Stephen.
So we are under caution for the second time tonight for this incident. Frank Muniz takes us on board hard into the outside wall. Goes Tyler Wright.
Napoleon asking about Cletus McFarland. He's supposed to run the O'Reilly race tomorrow night, not the truck race this evening. So Cletus will be in the O'Reilly race tomorrow for Richard Childress Racing in the 33 car. Third entry for that team, part-time driver Cletus McFarland. Last race at Rockingham, I believe, in the series. So under caution for a crash in turn 4, first lap after the restart as we begin things in stage 2, our first caution for incident of the race. Quite a bit of damage for Tyler Reif's race truck may knock him out of the event. Clayton Green had some mechanical issues at the end of stage number 1. He is off the track still, 9 laps down. Reif already 2 laps down now because of the incident. Getting trapped a couple of extra times on pit road, trying to make some repairs. And at the very least, keep the 42 in the race still. I'll tell you what, gang, I am B. Long, long day. It was the shortest of runs. Not just a short run. Didn't even get a full green flag lap in that time. Their lengthy caution at the end of the stage, and now another caution immediately thereafter. Scroll back up on the leaderboard so you can actually see the top of the standings. A little less than 100 laps left. Lap 58 of 150 so far, and lap 13 of 50 in stage 2. And lap 95 will be the end of the second stage. I don't believe there's any more rain in the forecast tonight. So we should get the full distance of 150 laps in. And if for whatever reason we can't to get to halfway, lap 75 is where we would have to do to make this race official. First time in NASCAR history that the Truck, O'Reilly, and the Cup Series in the same weekend all got shortened of their scheduled distance.
Right. Tyler Wright into the outside wall, and Stephen Parsons got a little piece of it. Let's take a listen to the radio with his spotter, Zilich.
It's mighty good out there, Joey.
I thought it was all right. I mean, you can kind of imagine hearing what happened, and here's where Connor was saying 3 top, and this would be the wrecking inside of you.
Boy, Stefan could feel the contact and was able to keep that truck heading in the right direction. Good job by Stefan. Look at that. Bounced him up the track, but he was able to keep going.
Joey, you spotted for your spotter, Coleman Presley, before. What were the nerves like for that one?
But I had a lot of fun because usually your competitors you can't really talk trash to because you're stuck inside your car. But I had a lot of fun talking trash to the spotters up there because what are they going to do about it? And I had a lot of fun up there doing that. And I told them you better give them room because I'm going to clear them no matter what. And they believed me.
And you guys won.
And we won the race.
Well, I mentioned issues for Stuart Friesen. Josh.
I saw that issue for the 52 on Fifth Road. Talked to the team. They said they knocked the valve stem off the left front when they were trying to change that tire. So, of course, the tire went down and they had to come back down pit road and fix that. Right after it happened, Stewart came over the radio, said it's one thing after another. A tough stretch for this team right now. Hoping they can rally the rest of this way, though, guys.
There's the best. The tire going flat after the valve stem was knocked off.
Tough break for
Some
Friesen.
time to recover, though.
Yes, there is.
Friesen back in 20th.
What about the launches Lane Riggs have got? Can he get another one here on the bottom?
Yeah.
All right, Len Riggs trying to go 3 for 3 on the inside of row number 1 for the restart. Caden Honeycutt to the outside once more, just as he was the initial start as well as this restart. Green flag is back in the air at Nashville. 4 wide, headed down into turn 1. A little bit of contact right around Jesse Love in the 77, and more contact into the first turn right in front of him. Caution is out on the speedway. We got a spinner at the back of the pack.
Like ants. Wound up backwards in turns 1 and 2.
And it is the 25. I believe that is Ferguson. Carson Ferguson making his Truck Series debut here at Nashville.
Major damage to the 25.
Yeah, front and rear, waiting for him to get his window net down.
Quite a bit of rear bumper damage. Hopefully Ferguson is okay. Cars rolling back down the racetrack. Not sure if that was intentional or not. And Riggs has nailed 3 restarts in rows. He was out in front when the last caution came out. So next restart, assuming nobody pits again, as we've had 2 cautions in the first lap of a restart. They haven't even had a full green flag lap on these tires, but been through a couple of heat cycles with trying to get the heat in the tires before the next restart, especially for drivers at the very front of the pack. So under the caution, Lane Riggs leads Caden Honeycutt in second, Chandler Smith third, Christian Eckes is fourth, Brandon Jones in fifth, and sixth is Grant Enfinger. Rounding out the top half dozen. 23 minutes to get through stage number 1. It has been about 20 minutes since the technical start of stage 2 because of the lengthy caution with Clayton Green stalling on pit road, then 2 more cautions.
Like, not anywhere near matching the restart speed of Lane Riggs, and Caden was there and probably going to grab the lead if she doesn't come out.
That's what they were arguing about. Is when did the caution come out, and was I in the lead at that time? Apparently not. So they don't have another shot at it. But one thing, starting to figure it out. Right, like he's been getting beat on every restart. That time was the closest to one.
Now, as a driver, Joey, do you decide that if you're Lane Riggs, he did a pretty good job up top? Do you move up, or do you think the bottom is still the preferred line?
I bet he's thinking about it right now. You're on older tires. As the tires get older, typically the top becomes a little bit more preferred, a little harder to put the gas down when you're on the bottom. Maybe he would start thinking about it.
Well, I mentioned we saw that contact between the 77 and I believe it was the 15. Let's listen to Jesse Love's radio here.
We also know that I don't want you to be surprised that the restarts are chaotic. We've seen it a lot over the course of the last 10 years.
They've gotten crazier and crazier. They used to be pretty tamed.
Serious. Well, as they continue to clean up this.
By the time we get this next restart going, we're going to be almost halfway through stage 2 already. And we haven't even completed a green flag lap. We had 2 restarts, but a caution in the first lap following that said restart, bringing out the recent yellows. Lane Riggs is out in front. Caden Honeycutt in second. Christian Eckes scored in third. Chandler Smith fourth. Brandon Jones rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Grant Enfinger is in 6th place. Jake Garcia 7th. Tanner Gray 8th. Ross Chastain 9th. Gio Ruggiero has dropped to 10th. William Sawalich in 11th. Jesse Love in 12th. Daniel Hemrick 13th. Roger Kruth 14th. And Ty Majeski 15th. 16th is Stephen Parsons with Daniel Dye 17th. Stuart Friesen 18th. 19th for Tyler Rankrum. And Ben Rhodes in 20th. 21st is Parker Rutzlap in his second career truck start. Corey LaJoy, 22nd. And last truck of the lead lap at 23rd, Dawson Sutton. Thought you took a picture. I don't know what I was dreaming. I was daydreaming. I'm hallucinating already. That was bad. That was bad. That is over 22 hours since rest. Not quite. It'll be 22 in about another 20 minutes. Daydreaming about something. Daydreaming about taking pictures. Cars are pretty. Oh, man. They come back from commercial. I'm going to get up and walk around for a bit, grab another ice cold water. Still got about half the event to go yet. Full field running order. Lane Riggs is the leader. Caden Honeycutt is second. Christian Eck is third. Chandler Smith fourth. Brandon Jones is in fifth. Grant Enfinger is in 6th place. 7th for Jake Garcia. Tanner Gray 8th. Ross Chastain 9th. Gio Ruggiero 10th. William Sawalch at 11, Jesse Love 12, Daniel Hemrick 13th, Roger Guth 14th, Ty Majeski 15th, as mentioned already. Stephen Parsons 16th, Daniel Dye 17th, Stuart Friesen 18th with slight damage. Tyler Ranker 19th, Ben Rhodes 20th, Corey LaJoy 21st, Parker Retzlaff 22nd, Dawson Sutton 23rd, Justin Haley 24th, last truck in the lead lap. Brendan Queen 25th, Andres Perez 26th, Cole Butcher 27th, Chris Wright 28th, Frankie Muniz 29th, Minnie Tyrell 30th, Derek Lemke 31st, Spencer Boyd 32nd, Caleb Costner 33rd, Carson Ferguson 34th, Tyler Wright 35th, and Clinton Green 36th. I believe 3 trucks out of the race, at least 2 of them. At least 2, maybe 3 trucks are done for the night. I don't know if I'm doing great, but this might not be my best performance, but when I am locked in, I'm locked in tonight. I will say that much.
During times and crisis, and you're so philanthropic, Joey. You do a lot outside of your race car. How was that night, and what all are you guys doing with all the money you're bringing in?
It was a great night. We had a fundraiser. We love foster care. That's our main mission. And we gave away 2 cars to 2 foster kids aging out of the system that have achieved some amazing things. They graduated. They have their high school diploma. They got their driver's license. They did a bunch of community service, and they got their career plan ahead of them. And we've given away 12 cars so far this year. So far, we're pretty early in the year. It's been a lot of fun to do that, and we work with a lot of great organizations that help give these kids a great chance.
And I hear is your silent auction still going on?
Silent auction is still going on. PristineAuction.com. Go check it out. There's a lot of really, really cool auction items, like cool experiences, a lot of VIP race experiences. Check that out. JoeyLoganoFoundation.com. There is where you learn even more if you want to help support what we're doing. But it's been really impactful. Party was amazing. It's so much fun.
He is talented, but I love everything that you and your wife Brittany do, all that you guys get back, all that you have going on in your own lives.
Woo!
And you still find time to broadcast with
We're
us.
doing it. We're going back green, too.
Yes, we are. Lane Riggs, Hayden Honeycutt. We've seen this a couple of times already tonight.
Lane chose that bottom. So it started out nicely again, but man, rallying down into turn 1 last time was Kate Honeycutt.
Watch Chandler Smith
Oh,
outside in the 38 truck.
Saw Stephen Parsons sideways on that restart, pushing and shoving.
Mixing things up to top 5, guys.
Christian Eckes in the 91. We talked about his performance a couple of years ago on it tonight, too.
It's this big slider right there. He throttled up really early, trying to clear himself against Eckes. Eckes does the crossover as they go down to turn 1.
You make that dive bomb, you better make sure you get all the way clear.
Well, Eckes did the same.
Oh,
Again, Jake Garcia, Jesse Love, a lot of damage once again. 4th caution up at night. We went caution free through stage 1.
It just, these restarts are crazy. We're lucky we made it. You see a lot of
Gray.
damage there to the team truck of Gray.
I'm curious how this all shook out.
Shorter than it used to be. Not good.
So we know Tanner in the 15 and Jesse Love had their incident before.
Well, it was a close truck for running in the top 10 when that went down. Gray was running 8th and Garcia 9th. We saw.
Let's go on board with Frankie Muniz, take us through, from his perspective, what happened from the start.
Be a few rows ahead, and you can see those guys just started spinning. Can't tell what started it. Frankie said, I'm getting loads of the grass.
In progress, still hard to tell what started it all.
That's a big hit for the 98. End his night.
Garcia's been pretty stout this year, especially when it comes to qualifying. Knocked off a lot of top 10s already to get to this point. See Tanner Gray, all this work continuing on pit road.
Those teams will do their best to get that thing back to where he can make some laps. But man, that looks like a mess.
If you're looking for the Live Golf in South Korea, it is currently starting on FS2. At the end of this race, we'll take you to South Korea to watch the third round of Live Golf. We had a big weather delay earlier. That's why our race got started so late. Good news is, though, the weather looks good. It looks clear. We can get to the end of this. Jesse Love back in a truck for the first time since 2023.
It's not how Rodney Atkins saw this going down tonight.
So as work continues on pit road, we will step aside as we're under caution. Time from Nashville.
When we started a lead,
Just realized you could see the sweat stains on my hat through the camera. Go back to that. It's only when I like really look down. Very noticeable on the bill. You can tell this is my work hat. It's been through its fair share of sweating storms. Live commentary coverage of tonight's Allegiance 200 at Nashville Super Speedway continues. Lane Riggs has led every lap of tonight's race, 71 for 71 so far. Started on the pole, won stage 1. Caution freight through the opening stage. 3 yellows already in stage number 2. I believe we got at least 1, if not 2, green flag laps in there before that caution came out. More than the couple of restarts before that combined, considering we didn't even make it a full lap, either one. Caden Honeycutt did not get the fire off on that last restart, and Christian Eckes was able to take away second. So Lane Riggs is the leader. Christian Eckes, again, is second place. Caden Honeycutt third, and Chandler Smith up to fourth place. And honestly, of those top 4, probably the strongest trucks tonight. And probably the 4 best drivers we've seen so far in 2026 by way of the season point standings. I didn't get that other chat poll going. I had to cancel out the first one because Josevar wasn't in the field tonight. I had him in the chat. So I'll ask based off of how the race is going so far. Who wins the truck race in Nashville? And we'll go Lane Riggs, who was one of the options earlier. Other, of course. Caden Honeycutt. And, well, let me see where Ross Chastain is. He's up to 7th. He's gaining ground. So I'll throw Ross Chastain back in there again.
It's I'm not waking up. It's race in the morning. It's well, God, you're so hard. I was already sleeping by before.
The all Fox Sports digital show Speed with Harvick and Buxton, fueled by Poet. Subscribe to Speed on Fox on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcasts. The man of the hour, 2 hats off to Will Buxton and that amazing call in the last lap of the Indy 500. Incredible work by him and that whole team last Sunday.
Incredible race, incredible finish. What a day in Indy, huh?
It was incredible. Very special to be part of it. Happy to be back with you guys, though, here in Nashville, and it looks like things are going the wrong direction. Jesse Love taking that left-hand turn back into the garage after the incident with Tanner Gray, and reading through the notes and radio chatter, and it sounds like Tanner just got loose, washed up the track, and took out the 77 of Jesse Love and the 98 of Jake Garcia.
About every corner of that 77 truck of Love's was up, and You can see major damage to the back of the 98 and all over that 15 as well. These restarts we talk all the time about, it's an opportunity to pass. And so these guys really push the button and do their best to get advantage. And man, just overdid it a bit.
Amanda, let's get an update on Caden Honeycutt, who's running third right now.
Yeah, we were following along on potential electrical issues for the 11. They were saying that the operating voltage was low, but they weren't sure if it was just because they were running under caution. I went over to Scott Zipadelli, and he did give me a thumbs up and said that that truck is doing all right. But they've been talking to Caden a lot about these restarts. On the last one, they were telling him to keep up the pace with the pace truck, that they felt that the 34 was slowing down the field before getting into the zone of restart. But Slugger Labby has been giving some advice to Caden and was talking about his choose of what he does to do here. But yeah, a lot of conversation on the radio with Caden about the restarts tonight.
Thank you, Amanda. As we're choosing it up here, a couple things to note. Dawson Sutton in the 26 had a restart violation that last restart, and the free pass this time around goes to Brendan Butterbean Queen.
What about Christian Eckes? He was able to make his way up to the front row, see what he can do with Lane Riggs. Lane's going to have a strong truck behind them there, and Caden Honeycutt pushing. And then there's that 38 all the way up to row number 2. We haven't seen the laps of this guy.
He's getting closer.
Teammates getting closer to each other.
That's be a different restart for Lane Riggs because every restart so far he's had Honeycutt to his outside. Now he's got Eckes to his outside. A little different situation. I'll be curious to see if he plays his cards a little bit differently here.
Here we go once again as the drivers approach the Echo Park Automotive restart zone.
All right, here we go. Lane Riggs trying to master every restart that he has done so far. Replicate that again here. Another great restart for Riggs as the green flag is back in the air. He gets clear into turns 1 and 2 on every one of these restarts so far. Not only is getting a good launch, but obviously the shortest way around the track on the bottom lane as you cut through the center of the tri-oval. He was clear pretty heavily and healthily in turns 1 and 2. Down into turns 3 and 4, he's able to stretch the lead out to about 0.8 of a second by the end of the first lap after the restart. Riggs is already gone. Eckes holds on for second place for the time being, but Honeycutt will battle him back into turns 1 and 2. On yet another restart. A couple of trucks making contact up in the middle of the upper groove of the track after running 3 wide, 2 of which getting forced a little bit wide. Gathering it quickly, keeping from getting junked. Like we've seen a couple of drivers already today. One of which inside the top 10 in the point standings, and of course the top 10 will make the chase at the end of the 18-race Truck Series regular season. Raja Caruth in the 7 truck tonight, making a pass on his fellow Chevy counterpart, Ty Majeski. Guess Majeski in a Ford now, not a Chevy.
And from the 98, he's out on track. You saw how wrecked that truck was, but
So it sounds like caution for debris.
He has things hanging off all over the place.
Yeah, he doesn't have a spoiler either. NASCAR needs to send him to the garage.
And that's where Tanner Gray in the 15 truck just went to as well.
There's part of the debris that now we get to see another restart, and we know how chaotic and crazy those are.
This should be a fairly quick caution too, right? Just a little piece of debris out there. Should be a quick pick it up, turn it loose again.
He's got other stuff hanging off. It's not the night you're hoping for. Green delay and then have all this craziness. And check out the 15 or the top truck, down on the bottom. We saw contact. Loose is Ruggiero, up in
Daniel Hemrick, but he hangs on to it.
It's great driving there.
That's that tricky part. We talked about it a few times. That entry to turn one on the brakes, they are 3 wide, tight on each other.
Okay. That's a mess.
Hard time keeping these laps going, guys. That was the longest run in stage 3, and it was 3 laps.
Oh, me.
Well, it is past midnight.
Well, it's going to be a long night, Jamie.
Buckle up, Joey. You're 4 hours past your bedtime.
There you see the 13 truck of Cole Butcher. He's a lap down. We got several trucks a lap down. Those guys will all be battling to try to get the free pass.
So we have 22 trucks on the lead lap as of now. Get that piece of debris picked up, and we'll try it again. 16 laps to go in stage.
All right. Well, late in stage 2, Lane Riggs is the race leader. Christian Eck is still in second with Caden Honeycutt third. Fourth place, Chandler Smith. Ross Chastain now up inside the top 5 for the first time today in 5th. Brandon Jones in the 6th place position. Grant Edfinger 7th, and Raja Kruth, last year's winner, in 8th. After struggling back in stage 1, he's nailing the restarts, and it's kind of tough to see if any adjustments made some of these trucks better because we haven't had a green flag run of longer than 3 or 4 laps in the entirety of stage 2. First 45 laps went caution free, so in stage 2 alone, in 35 laps, we've had 27 of them completed under caution. That's just completed under caution. More than that many caution laps when you consider the fact that we have had a couple of them first lap after the restart, or maybe 2 laps after the restart in certain cases. I will say the more cautions that come out, race is going to drag on a little bit more. I'm really struggling, guys. I'm not going to lie. I am struggling to stay awake. I was afraid of this. I saw an 11:50 Eastern start. I knew it was going to be tough. See, when I knew it was a rain delay at 8 p.m. Eastern, I had to make sure I was up so I didn't miss the start. Yeah, 26 of 34 laps on the stage, rain under caution. Yikes, yeah. And that's full laps. Like I said, that's not even counting. We were counting green flag laps completed. Wouldn't be many.
Craftsman Trip Series. JD Little, Michael Waltrip, Joey Logano with you. Amanda Busick, Josh Sims on pit road. And this is NASCAR After Midnight. We appreciate you watching and hanging it.
NASCAR After Dark.
So, different strategy here. 7 trucks decided to pit there, including Ross Chastain, came in from the 6th position.
You got to mix it up, don't you, Joey? I mean, you got to throw a Hail Mary here. I know it's only halfway through the race. Speaking of Hail Melon, there he is right there. But mix it up a little bit. Try something different to gain some track position. When we come into the stage, maybe you stay out then.
Maybe you stay out there, get some track position. Maybe you throw on 2 tires and get some track position that way. Do something just, hey, what the heck? Why not?
Or you wish you didn't come, because then you get a penalty. Gio Ruggiero, too fast entering.
Well, he had an eventful restart a bit ago, and so dropping to the back, maybe he can catch his breath and get a little bit smoother roll here.
So they'll go to the tail end. Andres Perez in the 44 was the free pass there. What a story today. Michael, we talked on it in this earlier. His primary truck was so out of whack going through tech, they made him go to a backup truck.
That's when you miss it a lot.
I got to rewind that.
Practice earlier. His primary truck was so out of whack going through tech, they made him go to a backup truck.
That's when you miss it a lot.
Never heard of that happening.
I got a couple of pictures from the garage area of the truck. It was the right side of being too low, and you could see literally picture that was made It was too low. Now, how they thought they could get it through inspection, that's a different story. But they unloaded that pickup truck and had great speed. It's down early here in the race, but he's able to rebound here and get back on the lead lap.
Well, he lost a lap at the start of the race, Michael. He had to come down pit road for the penalty on top of everything else from technical inspection. Now he's up to 18th and just got his lap back. So, well done, Andres Perez. As Daniel says, that's his amigo.
Yes, it is. I mean, they obviously built
Well,
the truck
from Mexico?
that was pretty aggressive. They hope to get it through tech. And NASCAR said, there's a line somewhere there, right? What's the tolerance? How far can you go? Sometimes you got to cross the line to figure out where it is.
You know,
They found it.
we talk about technical inspection. A couple of guys said it's a good thing it's raining because one truck passed on the first time through. So there was a lot going on in tech inspection, and NASCAR is trying to tighten up on that. But we are racing, and there was only one guy that was a casualty of that, and that was the primary truck for Andres Perez. Now we saw an amazing restart again by Lane Riggs. Put a quarter of a straightaway on him in one lap. What happens here?
I mean, he's been clearing. I mean, all but that one restart when Honeycutt was able to hang to his outside, the caution came out. Every other restart, he's been cleared just past the start-finish line to where he can enter the corner wherever he wants. All the other trucks are side by side, taking air off of each other, slowing each other down, and he just rips away from the field, and then he's able to manage his own run.
All right, so we're going to be back to Lane Riggs leading the field for another restart inside of row number 1, looking to stay perfect on the night. He's led 84 of 150 laps so far. All the caution laps so far in stage 2, even if he wins the second stage, he's not going to have the gap he did at the end of stage 1 with all the lap trucks in between first and second place. So the picker is going to have to be even better on the next stop than what they were in the first one. Another great restart for Riggs, 3 wide for second place into the first turn, and Caden Honeycutt going to come back out with second. Washing up the racetrack on the inside line that was initially behind the now second place truck. Honeycutt loses a bit of ground. There was a decent amount of trucks that came to pit road that last time, knowing that they can maybe make it on fuel to the end of the race from here. It's going to be pretty tight. Down to 65 laps to go. 10 laps left in the second stage. See if we can actually get a decent green flag run in here. It would be 11 laps to make it to the end of stage 2, and it would be the longest green flag run of the second stage alone if we can go more than 4 laps. Polar opposite stage 1 versus stage 2, that's for sure. The only commonality is the fact that the top 2 in the running order are still the same, Riggs and Honeycutt. Chandler Smith, Christian Eckes both ran their fastest laps of the race at lap 86 that last time by 30.143 for Smith and Eckes a 30.207. Fastest lap of the day for Lane Riggs, our race leader, 29.794. He's got the current Xfinity fastest lap bonus point award. Justin Haley, a 3-wide move down on the bottom of the track, getting by his teammate Minnie Tyrell. Couldn't tell who else that was up towards the outside of the racetrack. They got bypassed by Haley. Haley, one of the trucks who had gotten a free pass in the race tonight. Dodge Ram struggling just a bit. None of their trucks inside the top 10 in points, and only the top 10 will make the chase at the end of, again, an 18-race regular season, which is past halfway home coming into the night. Another race ticking away this evening. And the trucks will continue on at Michigan, I believe, next weekend, while the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series is going to be having their first week off of the year. They have not had a week off yet. Even on Easter weekend, they had race when the Cup Series had off. So they've been one race ahead of the Cup side for a while. Actually, 2 now because of the All-Star race happening a couple weeks ago at Dover when it was a points-paying race for both Truck and O'Reilly. So we'll miss them a couple times this summer. Same for the trucks yet, as they've had several off weeks already in 2026. Lead for Riggs is 1.2 seconds over Caden Honeycutt. Chandler Smith is 2.3 seconds back in third. 3 seconds out of the lead in fourth is Christian Eck still, and 4.1 seconds back in fifth is Grant Enfinger. Enfinger just ran his fastest lap at lap 88 3 laps ago. So this is the best we've seen Enfinger today, both track position and just overall speed-wise. Riggs now with about a 1.5 second lead, and it's just lap over lap. He puts a 10th or 2 on Caden Honeycutt. And even with some adjustments that might have been made in stage 1, nothing's going to help Honeycutt at all, at least on the short run to keep up with Riggs. Maybe manage tires a little bit better on the long run, give himself a shot. The problem is that final stage, by the time we go green, is going to be less than 50 laps, and not even a full fuel run, so it's going to be tough to kind of burn those tires, and maybe if you do have a good long run truck, for it to actually come in quick enough by the end of the race. Christian Eck is in no man's land in the 4th place position. He's got no battle for that spot going on right now. He's about a 1.5 seconds ahead of Grant Enfinger, and a full second or more behind 3rd place Chandler Smith. Front Row Motorsports Sandwich and Caden Honeycutt's the meat in the running order up at the front of the pack. Coming up on the final lap of stage 2, this time by for Riggs, over a 1.5 second lead. The only good news for Caden Honeycutt with Riggs winning these first 2 stages is Honeycutt finishes 2nd in both stages, assuming he holds Chandler Smith off. He's got about a 2 lead over him for that 2nd place position battle. But Riggs will get 20 points to 18 for Honeycutt, so he's only losing 2. Points lead was more narrow than 38 coming into the night with that race win by Riggs last week. He was able to cut into it a bit. If he does that again, look out, ladies and gentlemen. Lane Riggs coming to compete for a championship this season. Green, white, checkered flag in the air for the 2nd time today. Lane Riggs wins stage 2 at Nashville, sweeping the first 2 stages. Can he go 3 for 3? He has led all 96 of 150 laps so far as we circuit under caution for the stage 2 end. Not as many comers and goers in stage 2 versus stage 1. Considering most of the big losers were all drivers who had crashed out in this 2nd stage. Clayton Green, Jake Garcia, Tanner Gray, Jesse Love, Carson Ferguson, Tyler Reif all off the track, if not out of the lead lap. Brennan Butterbean Queen getting the most recent of the free pass positions, last on the lead lap at the end of the last stage. And Colt Butcher in 24th for Thor Sport Racing, looking to get the free pass this go around. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to chug a Monster. I've never had an energy drink in my life. If I chugged one right now, I feel like I'd be through the roof. Hopefully there's no hesitancy in getting to the end of this one. My luck, we're going to see a bunch of overtimes in this race. That's what I feel is going to happen just because of the late start alone. We've had late night streams on the channel before. It's just been a long time. Because last year, across all 3 of the top series, we didn't see a rain delay last probably longer than 90 minutes. And we didn't see any of the top 3 series postponed a day plus. Last week, the Truck Series was postponed 2 days. And tonight we had a 3+ hour rain delay before the start. in Arizona. Thanks for tuning in. It's got to be Lane Riggs. Yeah, he is definitely leading our chat poll. 56% of those that voted in our chat poll taking Riggs for the win. How could you not, based off of how this race has gone so far? 12% of the votes going to Bold, Chastain, and Honeycutt, who are up in the top 5 at times, and 24% of you say somebody other than Riggs, Honeycutt, or Chastain will win. Chandler Smith would probably be the next best bet. And then Christian Eckes in the 9. Or sorry, Grant Enfinger in the 9. 91 is Eckes. Well, fuel strategy is pretty easy. You fill up during the stage break, and you're going to make it to the end. I wonder how much comedy you guys are getting in the chat watching me move around in my seat a lot, trying to keep myself awake. I'm waiting to fall forward into the camera. It hasn't gotten that bad. Just got to make sure that I don't blink much, you know. Obviously, most stage points tonight goes to Lane Riggs with sweeping bull stages. Only 4 drivers get double-digit stage points. Caden Honeycutt gets 18, 14 for Eckes, and Chandler Smith, the points leader. At one point early in the season, held it for the first handful of races. He is going to get 13 points. Ben Rhodes with 9. And those were the 5 drivers with the most stage points tonight. Someone in NASCAR been doing rain dance the last couple weeks. I'm sure everybody that won last week probably doing the rain dance. Especially Daniel Suarez getting the crown jewel win in the Coke 600 last Sunday night. Pit road is open for maybe the final time.
About how fired off at the start of the race. Not as this last race tonight. That's cool. 38, Amanda.
Over the golf wall goes the team of the 11 as they get ready for Kane Hunt in this last stop. And Michael, you hit it. Kane loved what they did on the last stop. Said, just give me what you did last time. I'll maintain and do good from there on out. And then to Lane Riggs, guys. There might not be an off-track rivalry, but this is feeling on track between Lane Riggs and Hayden Honeycutt. They're going to free up Lane for the rest of this run, guys. And he's going to lose the spot right there. Caden Honeycutt's team.
Well, there we go. Lane Riggs is not going to go wire to wire tonight. Slow pit stop for the 30-14. They will lose 6 positions. Parker Retzlaff with a 2-tire stop is going to win the race off pit road. Corey LaJoy, Gio Ruggiero also taking 2 or no tire stops to get track position. In actuality, with the drivers who took 4 tires, Lane Riggs only got beat by Caden Honeycutt in the pit lane. The 11 truck beat the 34. The other 4 trucks went either fuel only or right side tires only. So this is going to be a jumbled mess on this next restart. We saw quite a few cautions on restarts alone in stage 2. We'll see how it's all going to map itself out. We're going to have less than 50 laps to go when we go back racing again. 35 caution laps, over 30 of them, I believe 31 to be exact, were ran in stage 2 alone, which was only a 50-lap stage. So we only had 14 green flag laps in a 50-lap stage 2. And now we've had 5 laps under caution here to begin stage 3 because of the stage 2 break. 6 cautions total. 4 for incident, and the stage yellows at lap 45 and lap 95. Some drivers trying to stretch it on fuel, maybe staying out of the pits completely during this stop because of pitting during the last stop and trying to, again, just make it, nurse it to the end on fuel. So the restart was with 11 laps to go in the stage with a 55-lap final stage. 66 laps to go was the last restart. Depending on how many caution laps we run here, we're probably looking at 60-plus laps under green, might I add. Yeah, drivers who are going to stay out of the pits completely here are going to have to make it, and that's why we saw some teams that probably didn't think they could make it come in for fuel only. like a Corey LaJoy. And we'll have to wait and see how this is all going to, again, play itself out. Now, Ross Chastain, a former Cup winner at Nashville. Roger Kurt, the defending winner of this Truck Series race, in second. Tyler Ankrum, a driver who had a fuel mileage win at Rockingham last season on a shorter intermediate oval. Lots of contenders here. Just over 100 laps complete out of 150. Well, we're going to take a break here as we're about to begin the final stage of listening live on KRC, full flag to flag coverage of tonight's Allegiance 200.
When it comes to America, you can see it all right here on Fox. Get ready for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It all kicks off June 11th on Fox and FS1. So much buildup. So many of the cities we've gone to and raced in the airport. You just know World Cup is coming, and it's going to be in that city. Kansas went all out when we were there.
Well, speaking of build-up, we got a lot of strategy.
There's a lot going on here
Building up here.
at Nashville Super Speedway. Look who's up front. There's no lane rigs to be found in the first 3 or 4 rows.
These are the trucks that pitted under the last caution. A lot of them stayed out here. Ross Chastain, Raja Caruth. You see these trucks. And then there's a group of 2-tire trucks. The 10, the 17 did 2. There's the 62 did fuel only. They're trying to top it off. And then back there you see Caden Honeycutt. You see Lane Riggs. Look how far back they are. Row 5 for Lane Riggs. Riggs 4 for Honeycutt.
Honeycutt's team did a great job. They had a faster pit stop than Riggs. Everybody else got there via strategy. Let's see what Raja Caruth and that team is saying on the radio.
Well, that's what you were talking about, Joey. You like that call. They last came in and pitted on lap 81.
I like it. I look at all those trucks in the front. They weren't going to win the race doing what they were doing. And this is not a high-risk play. It may look high-risk, but I don't think it is, especially considering where they were running before. So they feel good they can make another 48 laps on gas. Be another caution that's going to help them even more. But this restart is going to be maybe one of the most chaotic because the fast trucks in the back got to go now.
So first 4 trucks stayed out. That last caution, the end of stage 2.
How quickly are Lane Riggs and Caden Honeycutt, who have been the class of the field, especially in Lane Riggs tonight, going to be able to go from 8th and 10th on the restart? Riggs in 10th, and a row just ahead of him in 8th was Honeycutt. Great restart, side by side for second up out of turn 2. I thought for a second Raja Caruth was going to try to go up the middle 3 wide for the lead. Thought better of it. Pushes the high lane race truck up near the outside. Forward being Ross Chastain, so Chastain holds on to the lead for a brief bit, but Caruth battles back to the bottom. A side draft going through the tri-oval. Chastain leads the first green flag lap of stage 3 by a nose, but the 7 truck on the inside is going to slide clear through 1 and 2, and Raja Caruth, who won last year's truck race at Nashville, now leads again late. And Lane Riggs is mired back in traffic as he did not have a good restart. He stuck 3 wide middle, and all of a sudden Riggs has fallen out of the top 10 in a hurry. And despite having 4 fresh tires, Caden Honeycutt pulling away from him. Honeycutt already up to 3rd place with only Chastain and Caruth in front of him. Honeycutt has not won on an oval. Riggs, the winner last week on an oval at Charlotte. That was only oval win of the season. 2 trucks that have been very consistent, very dominant up at the front of the field, but not having the wins to show for. Had quite a few Cup Series regulars win races already this season. Hocevar's got 2. Kyle Busch with 2. Corey Heim, a part-time driver, has 2 wins as well. Not sure exactly on the racetrack. Looking back at it. Other drivers who would have taken 4 tires would be, I believe, Grant Enfinger in 8th would be the second highest truck on 4 fresh tires outside of Honeycutt, who is in 3rd. In the first stage of 45 laps, there was about 1.2 seconds of tire fall off. That's not a lot for a 45 lap run. So we may see that again here. I don't know that there was any one truck that wasn't good on the short run that maybe had better long run speed. You guess maybe Chandler Smith. Problem is, the Smith's even further behind the 34 truck. Well, Riggs is just outside the top 10. Chandler Smith cycle out of the pit lane even further back. And Honeycutt's got time. With right around 40 laps to go, he's within a second of the lead, and he's only half a second behind Chastain for second place. Can Roger Carruth do it 2 years in a row here at Nashville? I don't even know that he has made another truck start, at least off the top of my head, in 2026 with being a full-time regular in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Kind of piecing together a full season so he can compete for points and compete to try to make the chase over there. Right now, he's in an absolute dogfight for that 12th spot. Carruth also has a win at Las Vegas the season before that in the spring, so he's only won on intermediate ovals. Definitely cannot doubt him the way things are going right now. Same truck, of course, that Kyle Busch was able to dominate and win on the last concrete oval at Dover. It'd be very fitting another concrete oval here tonight that Rajah Carruth would have a good run. That was after that truck was struggling for grip and speed back in stage 1. He was 21st, tail end of the lead lap at the end of the first stage. By the end of stage 2, he was running between 6th and 7th. For most of that stage, they made some massive improvements. Now with a little gamesmanship with the track position and pit strategy towards the end of stage 2, setting themselves up for the final stage. If that 17 can make it on fuel, they lead right now. Can they control their own destiny? 38 laps to go this time by. Take a full field running order rundown here. Rajah Carruth with a 7/10 of a second lead over Ross Chastain. 9/10 ahead of Caden Honeycutt in 3rd and Tyler Inkerman 4, 2.5 seconds out of the lead. Andres Perez in 5th. Corey LaJoie is in 6th place. 7th is Parker Rudslap with Grant Enfinger 8th. Christian Eckes 9th. And Ben Rhodes rounding out the top 10. Stuart Friesen in 11th. Lane Riggs still back in 12th. Chandler Smith right there with him in 13th. Gio Ruggiero 14th has had a good night until now. And Ty Majeski in 15th. Dawson Sutton 16th. Daniel Dye 17th. Stephen Parsons 18th. Brendan Queen 19th. And Daniel Hemrick in 20th. 21st, Brandon Jones. Minnie Tyrell, last truck in the lead lap in 22nd. Nicole Butcher in 23rd. Chris Wright 24th. Derek Lemke 25th. Frankie Muniz in 26th. Caleb Costner 27th. Spencer Boyd 28th. Justin Haley 29th. Clayton Green in 30th. William Sawalich 31st. 32nd for Jake Garcia. Tanner Gray 33rd. Jesse Love 34th. Carson Ferguson 35th. And Tyler Ripe rounds out our 36 truck field. So again, that is the full field running order. 35 laps to go this time by at Nashville. Rajah Carruth's lead just over 1 second ahead of Ross Chastain. And 1.2 seconds over Caden Honeycutt in second, who's putting a lot of pressure on the 45 truck. Chastain, winner of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Charlotte last week. Race ending under caution. I don't know that we really got to see a watermelon smash last week in the rain. That race ended so late as well. I pretty much went to bed right at the end of it. Oh, we got problems on the front stretch. Caden Honeycutt, the 11's got an issue. He was in third place. He was all over the back of the 45 truck. Obviously was in a heated battle for second for several laps. And that truck is slow as he creeps his way through turns 1 and 2. Middle of the front stretch, it just looked like the truck quit on him. Now, there were several electric issues last season for Corey Hine when he drove that truck that took him out of a chance to win even more races than what he had already won last season. I think a Homestead being one where the truck was shutting on and off on him. And I think there was another intermediate track he was doing that too and costing him a win there as well. Honeycutt not able to figure out behind the wheel exactly what might have happened. A little heavy-eyed there. Sorry if I don't know how long I was going without talking. I don't think it was very long. Looks like we're going to get a caution here with about 32 laps to go because Caden Honeycutt was creeping his way back around the front stretch, and he has pretty much stopped off the exit of turn 4, but did not make it to the pit lane yet. So kind of midway point of this final stage, we're going to catch a caution. By the time we restart, we're going to be probably just past halfway in stage 3. How many laps the yellow rig going to run here? I don't think it's going to be many. All the 11 needs is a push truck to get back into the pits. I don't think he was leaking any fluid or anything. Didn't appear that way. And we'll get a push truck to at least get him back to his pit box, and we'll go from there. Honeycutt easily going to fall multiple laps down. Obviously, still a lot of trucks in this race, and he came in as the points leader. Very high probability he will not be the points leader leaving tonight. So pit road's going to open this time, and this is going to be interesting. The drivers who tried to stretch the fuel window to the end of the race with the minimal tire wear on this concrete oval at Nashville, it's playing into their favor. They could save a little gas while in the pits, and the driver who is furthest at the front of the field in third of Caden Honeycutt on fresher tires now having some electrical issues of some kind.
Like it came back for a second, it looked like almost, and then you got to throw a new battery in this and hope that's what it is. So chasing an electrical issue is never fun. It's never like usually right there in front of you that you see it. You got to kind of go on this search and what caused it. That's going to be the next question if it does get running.
Right when this happened, Joey, you were in the booth for the Miami race last year at Homestead, and very similar situation for Corey Hine.
That was weird. It kept coming and going at this instance. And
It's exactly what I was alluding to a little bit ago.
the issue there is very close. Point leader. Yeah. Just when he thought he rallied off point, the thing cut off again.
So similar issue here for Case Hunt. Came in at the point leader. He was 11 points over Riggs. And
11
Riggs
points,
got
there you go. Not 38 like NASCAR.com stated.
last restart.
Now he's going somewhere. He's coming to pit road. And
Yeah, Dylan Capella with his head out. They were saying, were they going to come or not? Lane Riggs did decide to come in. During that stage, guys, he was saying that he couldn't turn the steering wheel. They were going to make him a little looser on this run, so maybe it was just a too far of an adjustment. As you see them making the adjustment on the back of the bed right there now.
Yeah, I wonder if he thought, okay, I'm going to be in traffic, right? The crew chief knew that a lot of those trucks that pitted were going to stay out. We're going to be a little further back. I don't have the clean air in the truck anymore. I'm going to free it up a little bit for you. Guess it wasn't what I needed.
You know what?
Yeah, right now the damage was already done.
Right.
Right, you already lost all your track position. Come back down pit road. Let's tighten it back up. Let's give you a little fresher tires than everybody, and go back to work. Try to salvage something good out of it.
Yeah, Riggs had about 11 lap fresher tires on that last restart with the 11 green flag laps we did run at the end of stage 2. And then he restarted in 10th, fell back to 12, didn't get any of that ground back. It just goes to show 11 laps, fresher tires doesn't really make much of a difference here. And there was about 1.2 seconds of fall off over a 45 lap run. So even now being about 25 to 30 laps better on tires, I think he's going to fire off well. He's going to probably get back up inside the top 10, but I don't think he's going to get beyond that. I think over time these tires are going to even out quite a bit again, and I think he's out of it. I think the strategy call they made wasn't a good one, and at the end of the day, they just, despite being in control of things, just didn't quite get the strategy gamesmanship. And they lost a spot to Caden Honeycutt, with Honeycutt having the problems he's having right now. That has nothing to do with Lane Riggs being at the back and surrendering all these laps led tonight. Lack of execution for some of these teams. A lot of Chevys up at the front of the leaderboard right now. My goodness, I'm looking at the bow ties here. Top 6 spots. Then you got a Dodge Ram in 7th, and then 3 Fords, 8th, 9th, and 10th. No Toyotas up inside the top 10, though. There's not a lot in the truck series anyway. Friesen, Retzlaff, and then obviously the Tricon Garage trucks. Tricon's got, I believe, 5 trucks in the field. Same as Thor Sport. They are of the 2 biggest teams in the Craftsman Truck Series. Field getting the 1-to-go signal as they're on a side-by-side commercial break right now, and we will have about 26 laps to go on the next restart. So Raja Karuth is going to be the leader. Ross Chastain is going to be second. Tyler Ankrum third. Andres Perez in fourth. Grant Enfinger rounding out the top 5 in fifth. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. It is a bow tie party. Seventh caution of the day, 5th for incident, and our first of stage 3. The 11 truck of Caden Honeycutt needing assistance to get back into the pits. I believe they put a new battery in the 11 truck. Try to get him back out rolling again. Salvage any point he can. He's 3 laps down at 28, out of contention to get back on the lead lap, especially with all the trucks a lap down. Roulette wheel at the front continues on. Green flag back in the air as the 11 Caden Honeycutt no longer in the picture. 3 nearly 4 wide into the first turn. A lot of contact and a lot of trucks drifting up wide. Corey LaJoie so far wide, he gets up against the wall in turns 1 and 2. Unscathed in the sense that there was no incident going on there. The big checkup probably allowed for Lane Riggs to get by at all. So him on the screen, he needed to pick up quite a few spots as fast as he possibly could. Chandler Smith in the 38 looking to the inside of Grant Enfinger. See, now this is a battle for 5th, and Chandler Smith is on 4 fresh tires. Not as many lap fresher tires to that of his teammate Lane Riggs, but Chandler Smith also starting back in 22nd. He's already got a good feel for how his truck is in traffic. And it's been pretty good. It definitely seems like Lane Riggs is struggling in traffic quite a bit. And that's the dangers you run of qualifying well, or in this case, with not having qualifying, just getting a good starting spot, holding on to it for the first half of the race. It's going to credit him for a decent amount of stage points, but at the end of it, he's not getting the finish for running as well as he has throughout the course of the season, which is right up there in contention for the regular season championship. Lead is 1.3 seconds for Raja Karuth. He's led every green flag lap of stage 3. And he'll have 22 more laps to try to hold on this time by. Lane Riggs to the inside of Ty Majeski. This is already a battle for 10th. And Lane Riggs is making his time up very fast, which is good for trying to keep the tires underneath of him. Caution lights are on for 22 to go.
Issues on the restart. He lost some spots because of all the trucks were hanging off of each other. Lane's going to have a chance to reset inside the top 10 and go at it again.
Well, that tire is the reason the caution is out. Something happened with Ben Rhodes.
Is that Ben's wheel?
We saw a truck slow on the bottom, as you pointed out, Jamie, and there's Ben Rhodes on pit road. What a tough night it's been for this guy.
So he was slow. He had you see him lose a tire right here after the restart. There it goes.
Yeah, he definitely had a loose wheel. He was coming into pit for it already. It didn't quite make it there.
Safety team will pick that tire up and we'll
re-rack him, Michael.
That's right.
Another restart. This is the 8th caution of the night. 3 different leaders tonight. Lane Riggs absolutely dominated the first half of this race, led 98 laps. Raja Karuth now has led 25 laps, and Ross Chastain slipped in there in the middle and led 6 laps.
This is a great performance by Raja in that 7 truck. Got himself up front and just has nailed the restarts and got away from the field.
But just as good of a restart and how good Raja's doing, you got to give a lot of credit to his crew chief for the call that he's made, because those trucks, the top 3 trucks, were not really in the game here tonight. Like, they were okay. They weren't bad, right? They're good enough to make a risky call and put their truck in the spot to try to win the race. And they're taking advantage of it right now. No matter what happens, it was totally worth it. It's looking really well. They both have a chance to win the race right now.
And remember what Brian Patty told him? Oh, yeah, we're great on fuel.
Yeah, really good.
Raj is like, are we sure we're great on fuel? Brian said we are. Let's see. Well, these caution laps are certainly playing into their hands.
So we wondered what happened to the 99 Ben Rhodes. Let's take a look back here. Sounds like maybe contact with the 10. Corey LaJoy.
Wow, he just drove into the side of LaJoy. And look who that's right in front of. Lane Riggs has to slow down. Look at all those trucks getting by him.
Parker Redsloff, nice job giving Lane some room so they didn't all stack up into each other. There's that contact.
Before he came down a bit, and it just took all the air off the 99, and they made contact, heavy contact.
I mean, I wonder, did he have the loose wheel then? As that truck just kind of went up the racetrack, and for a wheel just to fall off, it's not like he had a flat tire, the wheel come off.
So the 99 had a flat tire after the restart, and then he lost the tire after he came in for the flat tire. So now he's being held 2 laps because he lost the wheel, and he's still in his pit box, as you see Stephen Parsons pull in.
It's just a case, I think, for Stephanie. He's running outside the top 10. They just said, we got to make something happen. We got a chance here to put some tires on.
Well, if you watch what Lane Riggs was doing with those new tires, he's driven up to 10th in a very short amount of time.
Tyler Ankrum right up front.
Now let's listen to his radio.
Right now.
Hobbles.
I love Eddie DeHaan's
Yeah, it sounds like John Travolta. No, it sounds like some Hollywood actor talking.
It's very calming.
It made me soothe. I'm soothed out here at just before midnight.
While you're
Nashville,
soothing
Tennessee.
in Nashville, I think Raja wasn't, because when Tyler hit him, he hit him pretty hard, like you said, and Raja was sideways trying to hold on to it. You seen him, he was below that yellow line, which per the rule book, you are not allowed to go below that yellow line as the leader. But he was forced down, right? He was pushed. The truck got out of shape. NASCAR usually understands that and sees, okay, he wasn't doing it to make a block. He was doing it just not to crash. He got forced below it, in other words. And I think that's why they're talking about how can we do this push better. This is a replay of that last restart. Here comes the push. And he got a little bit loose there before, and he kind of caught it to catch it even below that yellow. Not a huge deal in my eyes.
Nope, me either.
Look at the truck
And this-
span out, and that contact by the 99 into the 10 was pretty substantial.
This is for all the marbles. We got to go for it.
That. All right, Raja. Another restart. Pull those belts tight one more time.
This is Larry McReynolds.
Patty confident in his call this evening and those caution laps. We've talked about it already. Just keep saving that gas.
Ryan Patty's had great calls already this year. They're two-time winners with this team. Both wins coming with Kyle Busch, Atlanta, and then just 2 weeks ago.
Look at the
And
difference
Dover.
between a year. Only 4 cautions in the race last year and 8 tonight, and we still got a ways to go.
What is it? Late night racing under the lights?
I think they all got tired and they keep making mistakes.
Fair.
Logical way to be thinking of this right now.
But the one guy that has made a mistake, and that's Raja. He's been Vic. See some of the guys choosing the bottom there. Lane Riggs gets a couple of spots by going up top. See him burning his tires off there. Stephen Parsons in the green truck. He is on fresh tires. See what he can do. He'll be coming from the 20th position. And then just another shout out to Grant Enfinger. He's had a challenging season, but he finds himself right up inside the top 10. Looking for a great finish tonight. Chris Perez, too. I mean, there's a lot of great stories inside the top 10. Stuart Friesen has made his way up there.
Well, what I like to look at right here, obviously the top 2 trucks, they're going to have a great race going. At 38, we know he is super fast starting on the second row on the outside. We know that 34 is fast. Seems like he got his truck handling better. He's got fresher tires and everyone. Another cycle on it. Won't be as good this time. But can he bring himself back into the mix? That's going to be, to me, some of the most interesting parts of this restart.
And will we have another caution?
Probably. Hopefully not.
All right, let's see if Tyler Ankrum eases up just a little bit on this.
16 laps to go in the next restart. If we go green to the end of the race, it's only about 8 minutes. It's all the further Ross Chastain is going to have to try to press to keep up with Raja Krut in the 7. Krut did not get the fire off on the inside of row 1 that time. Chastain holds with him. Off turn 2, down the back straightaway. We have not seen side-by-side for the lead all night long until just now off the restart late in the race. Suarez clear in the middle of the corner. Turns 3 and 4, that is. Took him an extra turn to make the pass for the lead, but he got the job done. Unfortunately, Chandler Smith in 3rd place. And I don't even know that Chandler Smith is the one I'm worried about right now because there are cars coming even closer to the front of the pack, like Lane Riggs in the 34, who I believe just made a 3-wide pass to get into 6th that last lap. A couple of cautions back-to-back helping out the driver of the 34 after a slow pit stop at the end of stage 2, and dropped him out of the lead. Poor performance and/or handling on the racetrack in traffic at the tail end of the lead lap. Not somewhere he wanted to be, but there he is making a pass on Enfinger for 5th. Yes. And I almost like that, Even Fox is talking about how they don't think that this thing's over yet. Big move by Riggs. Boy, that was ultra aggressive. And I don't know that Christian Eckes deserved all that. Lane Riggs was trying to be over aggressive, maybe pack the air on the rear spoiler of the 91. I think he actually got into him. Knocked him up the hill. Just able to stay clear down the back straightaway. No chance for Eckes to get back to the 34th, the fresher tires. Showing replay of what just happened there. $11 laps to go this time by. Riggs still in 5th. Still a little over 2.5 seconds out of the lead. Raja Caruth had to fight for that last restart just to stay ahead of Ross Chastain. Chastain has since lost second place. Chandler Smith is now in P2. And Smith trying to outrun our leader, Raja Caruth, who's trying to go for 2 wins in a row at Nashville. This is shaping up for a pretty good finish here between the 7, 38, and 34. 3 different strategies. You got the guy on old tires trying to save enough fuel to make it to the end with the 2 cautions we've seen in the final stage. I believe that he is going to be able to do that. And then you got Chandler Smith in the 38, who has been pretty fast all night. Second place where he's running now, highest in the running order. And he has about 11 green flag lap fresher tires than that of Raja Caruth. And then you got Lane Riggs in 4th place, who has about 25 to 30 lap fresher tires. Trying to come from behind in late race restarts. He's had 2 attempts at them. 9 laps to go now at Nashville. If the 7 and 38 get to a very heated battle, that could bring Ross Chastain and Lane Riggs right back into it again. This race is far from over. As I always say, $37 laps led for Caruth, all in the final stage. 98 laps led for Lane Riggs here this evening as he sits in 4th. Led every single lap of stage 1 and stage 2 combined. And he's already picked up 6 spots since the last restart. Make that 7 as he gets by Ross Chastain for 3rd. So he passed Chastain for 3rd. He's still a little under a 1.5 seconds out. And now 7 laps to go at the line around this 1.3 mile oval. Riggs has about 3.5 minutes to make up just over 2 seconds. And the hardest pass of the 2 cars ahead of him is definitely, in my personal opinion, going to be Chandler Smith. Because he's only got 10 to 15 lap fresher tires than that of Smith. And Smith has about that many over the driver leading. Obviously, if Lane Riggs can catch the 38 truck, get by him quickly, I think he is going to win this race. Riggs is cooking. Chandler Smith maybe closing the gap just a little bit on Raja Caruth with just 5 laps to go that last time by at the start-finish line. Each of the top 3 drivers in the running order through turns 1 and 2 that last time by, all wrapping the yellow line on the bottom of the racetrack. Strategy got the track position for Caruth, but he's running good enough lap times, and he has gone 3 for 3 on restarts and holding on to the lead. Last one was a little bit of a close call. Maybe he could have gotten out to a bigger lead had he been able to clear through turns 1 and 2 on Chastain, buy him a few extra truck lengths. Just every lap, that 38 gets tighter to the 7, and the 34 gets tighter to both the 38 and 7. Smith looks like he lost a lot of ground through turns 3 and 4 that time. Carruth gaps him, 3 laps to go. Clean air has just been king for that 7. The 34 has been the class of the field all night, though, and he's got the freshest tires of any after hitting pit road during that last caution. Big run up that wider line through turns 1 and 2 for Riggs. He has to make quick work of his teammate Chandler Smith, and he does, and Riggs is clear into turns 3 and 4. 2 laps to go this time by as they come to the start-finish. This is going to be a very tough task for Raja Carruth. Tires haven't meant much today, but 25 to 30 laps is quite the difference, especially knowing it's the fastest truck in the field he's trying to hold off. Wide up the racetrack up out of turn 2 is Lane Riggs, trying to carry the momentum down the backstretch. Great job trying to break the draft by the 7 of Carruth. Riggs drives it in deep, trying to get to that right rear corner panel. He slips to the outside. Carruth is going to run him wide, and Riggs has the lift to keep it off the wall. Squeezing, making contact as they head to the stripe. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Riggs is still on the outside of the 7, and the 38 is tucked underneath both of them. Up the racetrack goes Raja Carruth. He's not going to let the 34 go unscathed, but Riggs is clear off turn 2. And pulling away with it down into 3 and 4, Lane Riggs will come from behind after dominating early and still sweep all 3 stages today. Lane Riggs, a winner in Nashville and 2 in a row for the 34 team. Raja Carruth finishes a tough 2nd place. Chandler Smith 3rd, Ross Chastain 4th, and Tyler Ankrum will round out the top 5 and 5th. Got to refresh my page so the leaderboard's right. For some reason, our leaderboard did not calculate the final lap. There we go. Now it did. It was very delayed, even after I refreshed it. Margin of victory, 0.4 of a second for Lane Riggs over Raja Carruth. He won all 3 stages today, and he led 99 of 150 laps. And the guy that was the toughest to beat ends up going to victory lane. We have had several dramatic Truck Series race finishes so far this season, and this is another one to add to that list. We'll go through the full field finishing order here. Again, Lane Riggs with the win, Raja Carruth in 2nd, Chandler Smith 3rd, Ross Chastain 4th, Tyler Ankrum in 5th, Stuart Friesen 6th. 7th place finish for Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes in 8th, Gio Ruggiero 9th. Daniel Dye in his return race rounds out the top 10. Parker Retzlaff in 11th, Ty Majeski 12th, Brandon Jones 13th, Andres Perez 14th, and Daniel Hemrick 15th. Cole Butcher 16th, Dawson Sutton 17th, Stephen Parsons 18th, Brennan Queen 19th, and Minnie Tyrell 20th. Derek Lemke, last truck on the lead lap in 21st. Corey LaJoy 22nd, Chris Wright 23rd. Frankie Muniz 24th, Caleb Costner 25th, Spencer Boyd 26th, 3 laps down, Caden Honeycutt in 27th with the electrical issues, Ben Rhodes 28th, another poor finish for the 99 team as he was 5 laps down after a crash earlier. Clayton Green 29th, 9 laps down, and then we had 7 trucks DNF tonight with William Sawalich finishing 30th, Justin Haley 31st, 32nd for Jake Garcia, Tanner Gray 33rd, Jesse Love 34th, Carson Ferguson 35th, and Tyler Wright rounds out our 36 truck field. Here's your race winner tonight, Lane Riggs.
Who is a guitar is mine, and the team answered back to him. We love you. And Lane, I want to go through that last lap. You seeing Raja Carruth ahead of you. When did you know you had him?
Until I passed him and cleared him. That's how you win a NASCAR truck race right there, boys and girls. I hope I put on a show for you guys. I didn't want to fall back, but I don't know what happened with that set of tires, but it was literally undrivable. Dylan made the right adjustments there, got me the tires. He got me the motivation. Drove to the front.
Lane, it's your third win of the season. Why are we going to be talking about you come November?
I think you just saw it right there.
Yes. I love that.
Lane Riggs, your winner.
That was short and
Thank you
sweet.
to everybody. Ford Performance, Ford Racing, Lowe's Travel Stops, Spur Motorsports, all these guys on this team. This pit crew right here did a great job all night. I'm so proud of it. Awesome finish there with the 38 truck. They gave me the push for the win. Great racing there with Chandler. But thank you to all the fans tonight. Awesome night of racing. Thank you, everybody.
Lane Riggs, a winner in Nashville Super Speedway. 1 hour, 59 minutes, 43 seconds total time on the race. We did finish under the regulation length of 150 laps, 200 miles around the mile and a third, Nashville Super Speedway. 8 cautions, 5 lead changes, 48 laps of yellow in this 150-lap race. And we had 6 cautions per incident, 2 in stage number 3, 4 in stage 2, none in stage 1 of how those splits ended up going. Congratulations to tonight's winner, Lane Riggs. It is late. We are past 1 a.m. Eastern on the East Coast. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I was tired. I jolted upwards in the last 3 to 4 laps of the race. Things were getting super heated up. That woke me up very quick. But I'm still going to pass out even quicker here in about another 5 minutes or less. As soon as I get to that bedroom, I am crashing. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good rest of your, I guess, Saturday morning now. I'll see you tomorrow. I will see you later this afternoon, I guess. Next live commentary stream is going to be Cup Series practice and qualifying, weather pending at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and the O'Reilly race at 7:30. Again, weather pending. But 3 more streams to go from Nashville for the race weekend. We got Cup and O'Reilly action still to come tomorrow and Sunday. Have a good rest of your morning, everybody, and I'll see you next time.